Welcome to another edition of Howzat Guyana's weekly TV cricket talk show. Of course, I'm here with my trusted co-host, Sean Devers, and it has been another packed week of cricket action. Sean, what are some of the things that our viewers can look forward to in this edition of Howzat?
Well, we've got lots of local, international, regional, IPL, so much cricket.
And of course, today we're going to have a special co-host coming from the Guyana Cricket Board, Cricket Operations Manager, Anthony Danrad. So that's a conversation I feel like the viewers should be looking forward to.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to it too. Anthony Danrad, the former youth player from Borbies, now the operations manager of the cricket board. I have a lot of questions for him.
Sean, I feel like one of those questions is going to be about the West Indies Breakout League, another topic that we will be discussing in depth in today's episode.
Yes, I'm sure we can ask him about the omission of some of the players and why. Because they don't send press conference, they don't hold press conferences, they just send press releases.
Sean is a guy with a bone to pick. But Sean, other than that, how has the world of cricket been this week? I know you're always on the ball with cricket in Guyana, but what are some of the things that really stood out to you this week, and what are some of the things our viewers can look forward to us having a discussion on, or probably just enlightening them on in this episode of
Well,
Howzat?
there was a lot of local cricket. The GCA, I commend them for organizing cricket. The Bartica, there's a guy named Ronaldo Jeffrey. He's dominating the Bartica tournament.
All right, wonderful. So a lot of cricket to look forward to and a lot of heated discussions I'm sure to look forward to. Of course, we also have something special in store for our viewers, so you guys might want to stick around and make sure that you remember to listen out for that phone number that we have, because when you get it, you can win something very, very big this week on Howzat. So stay tuned, lots to discuss in this episode. Of course, we're filming live in Guyana, and of course, we're here with the beautiful Guyana National Stadium in the background, filming at the Et Kezo restaurant in the Amazonia Mall. Stay tuned to Howzat, we have so much more in store.
Power through anything with Pulse Energy Drink. Choose from mango, sugar-free, and original. Get charged with Pulse.
The future of Guyana cricket is here. Are you ready to catch every thrilling moment? Never miss a game, news, information, interviews, and more. Guyana cricket will now be live and exclusive on the Guyana TV network. Experience the heart-pounding excitement from anywhere in the world. Catch every second, every ball, every wicket that drops on GCB TV, the channel on the Guyana TV network app. Watching Guyana cricket has never been this exciting. The Guyana Cricket Board has its own Cricket TV channel where you can watch all games live, get all your Guyana cricket news and updates, watch replays of games, access exclusive interviews and in-depth information, stay connected, stay informed, never miss a game. Watch it all free on the Guyana TV network app. The future of Guyana cricket is here. Live and exclusive on the Guyana Cricket Board's own TV channel, GCB TV. Catch all the games worldwide on GCB TV on the Guyana TV Network app. Don't miss out. Download the app now and be part of the action.
Welcome to Hibiscus Restaurant, Sports Bar, and Nightclub. We offer fine dining, a sports bar, dancing, and special events. Come and enjoy a great Caribbean meal or sit and enjoy the games. Watch for our upcoming special events and live shows. Hibiscus, where you can have a wonderful time with family and friends. We are located at 8344 West Oakland Park Boulevard, Sunrise, Florida. Come out today and enjoy our wonderful atmosphere. Hibiscus Restaurant, Sports Bar, and Nightclub. We are your entertainment center in Sunrise, Florida.
Good evening and welcome again to Howzat Cricket Show. We are live from Guyana and this is where we talk cricket, all cricket, local, regional and international. But let's introduce the man on my right from the Guyana Cricket Board, the Cricket Operations Manager, Anthony Dianrad. Welcome to the show. How do you feel?
Thank you, Brandon. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Well, Michelangelo, let's get straight into cricket. What's been happening?
Good evening, guys. Locally, we know we have the ongoing GCA competitions, which is the NBA Second Division and the Dave's West Indian Imports First Division. But we had a Sixes Festival at Martino's, so that put paid to those competitions. And instead, we had a couple of on the 70 Mayor and Friends 100 overs matches. And you know, Demerara Cricket Club, they host the transport, and that game was a low scoring encounter. They won by 57 runs. They batted first, made 127 all out, and then bowled out transport for 70. I believe my good friend Sean Devers was over at GCC.
Yes, the match at GCC was even worse in terms of the scores.
Yes.
Belair Rubis made 50.
50.
And GCC knocked it off for 2 wickets.
Easy pickings.
Domination. Timothy, you've been to Bartica, or what's the latest over there?
Actually, Sean is the guy that's
No, Timothy, no.
So, I took a moment and I slipped and Sean. So Sean,
Bartica reached the semi-final stage last weekend, and the final is going to be on Sunday. And the man of the moment, Ronaldo Jeffries, continuing to make a lot of runs, 168, 118, 104, and his last match he made 79, and so he's got 59 runs from 4 matches so far. And he's still got the final to play.
We gotta get Jeffrey in town. We gotta get him in town playing some cricket.
Well, heading back to Georgetown, I was mentioning the Martino's Sixes Festival, and we had a tie, Sean.
Yeah.
The American Cricket Society and ECC played in the final of that match. It was a 2 over each side, 2 overs in the final, and they both made 33.
Yes.
So they were joint winners. I think that's one of the first instances that we've seen something like that. So yeah, that's it for local.
Yeah.
Well, regionally, we know the Guyana Harp Eagles, they're currently on break, the regional 4-day tournament on break. It's good to know that the Harp Eagles are currently leading Jamaica.
Yes.
You think they're going to win again this year?
I have more confidence in the Harvey Eagles, but the last 2 matchups are the tricky ones. Of course, Trinidad has been in fine form this season, but Leeward Islands has always been one of the Harpy Eagles' most difficult match every rotation. So those are 2 matches to look out for. But point to note though, Leeward hasn't been that good looking.
But I think this break, I don't know why we're having all this break. Cricket is a game on momentum.
No,
You gotta rest.
You gotta get some rest.
Recuperate.
You gotta go home to your family, kiss your wife, hug your children.
Point
You
to
need time to these
it's
things.
been 2 breaks this
2
season.
breaks.
Yeah.
Twice 2
each.
breaks.
That's a month.
Come on, man.
Worth of
We
breaks.
encouraging slackness. I don't think they should, keep having these breaks. Cricket is a momentum game. Who knows? Maybe the Guyana Harp Eagles may lose some momentum.
No.
Who knows?
got
Trinidad
any
and
word for
Leeward may
Brandon
lose
Knock?
some momentum as well.
Exactly. You see, now we thinking
We
positive.
don't know.
And Trinidad has to play Jamaica in the next round.
4 Jamaica.
Yeah.
All right,
Saying
Chad.
the
Things can change.
No, John Campbell is back. Let's not
Oh,
forget
come
John
on.
That's
Campbell.
your boy.
Back.
John Campbell.
Same here.
When they made 4-4.
Well, true.
But keeping it in the region, right? Yeah. Remember we spoke about this West Indies Breakout League. It's a new T20 tournament. It's a collaboration between CPL and Cricket West Indies. And they have put out the full squads. And
This week.
the names: Trinidad and Tobago Legions, Leeward Islands Thunder, Windward Islands Infernos. The Guyana Rainforest Rangers. That's quite roll off the tongue.
This is your pressing question?
And then it's Barbados Pelicans. That's, I don't know. But to me, Jamaica takes a cake with Jamaica Titans. That sounds nice and solid.
Anthony, I think what Michelangelo is winding up to ask you here is, how did we arrive at Rainforest Rangers?
Yes. That's the question.
The name obviously was decided upon between the Guyana Cricket Board and the Guyana Amazon Warriors. And initially it was Guyana Caimans, but we didn't want the logo and the uniform to match that of the Jamaican Warriors.
So okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And this tournament is very closely linked to CPL.
That's correct. All right, so a little homage being paid there, steer. I get it.
It's a developmental tournament, right? We've picked 17-year-old Latif, the leg spinner, and that's a mandate from CWI. Right. Did you guys have a few contenders for that spot?
But I think the selection panel would have thought that the last national T20
the franchise.
And I would have identified him as the leading contender for the leg spinning role. We obviously had Matura, who was part of the 4-day setup earlier this year in preparation for the regional 4-day competition. So he was another name that would have came up when we were looking at the leg spinners.
All right, just to quickly, let me go through the squad for the Rainforest Rangers. We have Niles Smith, Kemal Savory, Ronaldo Ali Mohammed, Kevin Sinclair, Hashmid Ned, Kevlon Anderson, of course, young Riyad Latif, Rivaldo Clark, and I think we drafted in Jediah Blades. We have young Isaiah Torn, Ruchi Lupnot, Zainul Ramsami, Adrian Supwa, and Quentin Sampson.
You got Rivaldo Clark also.
So he's the Bayesian guy.
Yes. And then you can have two outside players.
Jediah Blades, they are the two outsiders.
Who were selected by the GCB.
Right, the GCB, selection panelists.
Okay.
Led by Ramir Sara.
This is a solid squad, right? We have noticed you have that's Ronaldo Ali Mohammed, Kevin Sinclair. That's two all-rounders. And
Richie Lopman might come.
Yeah, was just coming.
Yeah.
And Zainul Ramsami. So that's
the coach that explained to us.
So the question on everyone's lips on social media, at least, that I have seen, right, is the non-inclusion of young Jonathan Van, who is one of the better all-round talents in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people share it as well. What were some of the criteria for picking these players? I mean, you cannot directly answer because you're not on the selection panel, but you could give some insight.
Yeah, definitely. I think he was considered, he was strongly considered by the panel. But when you look at the pecking order in terms of seniority and those players ahead of him, with the Ali Mohammeds, Kevin Sinclair, obviously he's a seam, but when you're looking at the all-round spot, you have more senior guys ahead of him. So I think he was strongly considered, and he's definitely one for the future.
Many are called, few are chosen.
Right.
It was a good point he made there, because you have to look at Quentin Sampson as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Fast bowling all around the long sixes. But another name, it was a surprise because I think Silas Tyndall, he's a contracted player and with the Guyana Harp Eagles, and he was not selected by any of the teams. So Anthony, shed some light. Is it injury? Why was he not in the mix?
At the time, I think he was injured. He was dealing with an ankle injury, and that's what also led him out of the Harp Eagles set up for the past 3 rounds.
And can I make a suggestion, Anthony, that you hold press conferences at least 2 times every 6 months, so the journalists wouldn't speculate and write nonsensical things.
So I think the press conference obviously is a good idea, and we obviously would have had to wait on CWI to give approval because we weren't given approval. This squad was selected in early February. Sorry, the end of February, February 24th, I think, to be exact. But we obviously had to wait on CWI to officially release the squad before we can do anything at the GCB level.
All right, I want to take Anthony out of the hot seat right now because I feel like you guys have been on him. Let's switch our attention to the recently launched under 21, right? The 50 over Inter Club Cup. You know, just tell us a little bit about what went into basically the planning for this tournament, the ideas surrounding it. Of course, President Bisundayal Singh mentioned that it would bridge the gap between youth and senior cricket. So just tell us a little bit about the rationale behind that and, you know, how excited GCB is to see the clubs come out and represent their counties.
Yeah, I think when this administration led by Mr. Bisundayal Singh came in office, they would have developed a 5-year development plan, strategic development plan. And it would have included the under 13 age group cricket, which we didn't have before. It would have included the under 23, which we had 2 years ago with Republic Bank. That should be on board again this year. And obviously the under 21 was also one. So it's about bridging the gap between the junior level when you finish under 19 and then you get into the senior level. So obviously some players don't graduate as soon as they finish on the 19 level. So we wanted to have age group cricket, 240 age group cricket, so that they could stay into the cricket a little longer.
And I want to compliment Mr. Bisun Singh on this initiative. This is a national club cricket competition. Is there any thoughts of having it a senior like the Bristol Cup and the SN Singh which we had in the past?
At the county level?
No, the club level.
You want
National club level.
Senior in the club?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I think it's something we are looking at. Obviously, to have it at all levels, not just the senior or the under 21. We want to be able to have national interclub competition from the under 13 straight up to senior level.
And this is going to be played
and also at the
team.
female cricket too as well.
Kudos to GCB.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent initiative.
I'm very happy with that plan.
So Anthony, I want to ask you this last question on the topic of the under 21 tournament. Outside of Georgetown, because we know Georgetown has a very vibrant club cricket going on. Kudos to GCA for that. But has there been any struggle? Because I think by now the registration is closed for the tournament. Has there been any struggle getting enough club teams from, let's say, Essequibo or Berbice, or you guys are locked and loaded on that?
No, I think Berbice have already registered 16 clubs.
Yeah, Berbice
they're aiming for 20.
Okay.
So we would have extended the registration period by a couple of days to cater for those clubs that are still undecided on whether they'll be able to field that on a 21 team.
And I think Rosalton is playing 2 teams.
Yeah. We do have some clubs registered that will be fielding 2 teams.
Looking forward to field one about Essequibo because, you know, for years past, they have not really had that much competitions. So how are you guys looking at it?
Well, with Essequibo, usually what we do is they are able to participate in the tournament as an inter-association rather than inter-club. Because obviously we know that the structure there is not as good as in Denver and Berbice, where you have existing club cricket, registered club rather in the county. So they are going to field an inter-association team. So they have 7 associations. So they've already registered and I'm waiting to launch this tournament.
So we're talking about people, a team from, let's say, Region 1, they focus on district and so on.
Yes, correct.
That's excellent.
So that's the One Guyana National Under 21.
Yes,
That's what we call it, right? One Guyana. So fans, you hear it's One Guyana National Under 20. Sometimes I feel like I should be 20 because I would have
These tournaments obviously came out after we finished.
We're not a senior squad. It's saying that
Biggest squad probably.
It's time to come in. We get easy.
Maybe when we have the senior
Yes, we can make this.
we'll have an invitation media squad.
Of course, I don't know why that goes.
All right, let's move over to the international circuit. A few Guyanese in the IPL, guys.
Rutherford, Rolfman Powell,
Yeah.
Joseph, Hetmeyer, Shepherd.
Yes.
But I'm talking about the West Indians.
Yes, let's
So
hear
that's
the West
Rutherford,
Indians.
Russell,
Mhm.
Puran, and Sunil Narayan.
Right.
No,
So,
right.
Sean, since you're on the
8.
ball here, who will have the best IPL season? West Indian.
I said last time we met, I think Russell, not Russell, Rutherford.
Rutherford.
Sure, fit. All right, all right.
We're on
We
the
can
same
work with
page.
that.
We're on the same page.
You're on the same page? We're on the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
team?
No,
Oh my God.
I disagree, right? But
You have to agree.
no, because we don't know if Shepherd is going to get into that starting
Game time, that's what
Yeah.
we're looking at.
at RCB. But if he does, I think he will have a very good impact.
Because I think
Both pattern ball.
in the tournament opener, they went with Tim David over Shepherd.
Yeah.
But I think the moment that RCB finds themselves in a position where Tim David hasn't given them enough with the bat and he can't give them anything with the ball, I think that's when we're going to see the change. And once, I believe personally, once Shepherd gets in and he shows them what he's able to do, he won't be left out of that team again.
Let's not forget the substitute rule that they have. There is a chance that
Yes.
the impact player that Shepherd may be slotted in at any point in time just to come and finish the innings.
Right.
Speaking about finishers,
Oh, no.
there is only one designated finisher in the IPL, and that's Shimron Hetmyer, starting out the season with a bang.
42 off of 23.
That's good.
deliveries.
You can't go wrong there. So
And that's, but it wasn't a losing effort. So, you know,
Anthony, if you had to make a pick, who would you say is the Guyanese player that you're looking forward to most in the IPL?
I think Rutherford.
Rutherford.
Given what he's done at the international level for the past
No
12 to 18 months, I think he's definitely one we should look out for.
All right, guys,
great
we have to go to our next segment. But before we go, let's say we are live from Guyana at this beautiful restaurant at Kezo.
You got
We
it. You got
must-
it right.
We must also say thank you to Edward B. Bihari for sponsoring us once again, and I'm enjoying Pulse Energy Drink. Let's go for a quick commercial break.
Welcome to Hibiscus Restaurant, Sports Bar, and Nightclub. We offer fine dining, a sports bar, dancing, and special events. Come and enjoy a great Caribbean meal or sit and enjoy the games. Watch for our upcoming special events and live shows. Hibiscus, where you can have a wonderful time with family and friends. We are located at 8344 West Oakland Park Boulevard, Sunrise, Florida. Come out today and enjoy our wonderful atmosphere. Hibiscus Restaurant, Sports Bar, and Nightclub. We are your entertainment center in Sunrise, Florida.
Power through anything with Pulse Energy Drink. Choose from mango, sugar-free, and original. Get charged with Pulse.
Welcome back to Howzat Cricket Show, and we are in beautiful Guyana. Let's talk the West Indies Breakout League, guys. Some new names in the Guyana: Rainforest, Power Rangers.
Rangers.
Sorry, come on.
Come on.
Don't be hard on me. It's a new thing. It's a new thing. But some surprise picks, Michelangelo. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, man. Well, we just had Anthony that shed some insight into, the selection process and the thought process behind some of these selections.
Yeah, also spoke about the name as well. So
Yeah.
that was good.
Okay.
I need to get accustomed to that.
We spoke about, the Johannes Van Land being overlooked. Tell me what you guys think about, what he said.
I think Anthony gave a lot of context. Some of the names he mentioned in comparison to Van Lang. Of course, Van Lang is just 18 years old, just turned 18, I think, at the end of 2024. So he's pretty young. And then when you look at him coming up against the likes of Ronaldo Ali Mohammed, who's been in fine form this year, and Quinton Sampson for a spot in this team, both pace bowling all-rounders, then you get a better idea of why Van Lang was left out. I mean, for me personally, I understand him being left out on the basis of Ali Mohammed because he's in red-hot form. So I understand that. But Quinton Sampson, for me, not so much. Quinton Sampson came on the scene. He was, energetic. He was playing all the big scores. He was doing everything well. And I feel like in recent times, he hasn't been as dominant as he was probably, let's say, last year or the year before. So I don't know. I would have taken a chance with the youngster, probably over Sampson, but definitely not over Ali Mohammed. I still feel like Van Lang was slighted.
I agree with you on one point, which is, Ronaldo Ali Mohammed is red hot form. Any format, be it club competition on a regional scene, even the Sixes Festival that they had here already.
Guys,
but just a second, right? So where I differ, in my opinion, is that the name of the league, it's the CWI Breakout League. Ronaldo Ali Mohammed has been with the Heart Eagles.
He's an established player.
He's an established player, right? He has been with the Guyana Amazon Warriors.
One season.
So, for me, if you're going to say it's a breakout league, I would want to push Jonathan Van Lang for him to get a break at that level, right? That's where you have to step up, show that you really belong here, the talent that you have, the potential that people see in you. You have to translate that on to that stage. So that's where I beg to differ. So I definitely would have included Van Lang, let's say at the cost of Quinton Sampson.
What if you're saying that, then Kevin Sinclair? Sinclair is a test player.
Yes.
And there are only 3 players in this squad that has never played at the senior level for Guyana. And I agree with Jemima that Sampson, they have 15 teenagers in this tournament.
Right.
And Guyana only has 1. And he's
That's
17.
crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. So why couldn't you put Van Lang as the next teenager and leave out Sampson?
Yeah, well, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So,
But I'm not debating Ali Mohammed. He's an established player.
already established.
And it's only one season that Ali Mohammed actually put his name forward. So he still has to play some more cricket and further establish himself as a regional player. I don't agree with a lot of things normally from the Guyana Cricket Board or coming from the Guyana Cricket Board. But Anthony made a point, and we must understand that Quinton Sampson, there's not a lot of cricket he actually plays in terms of competitive cricket. He plays all the tape ball and this knockabout cricket. But
And he's also from Mexico too.
Right. So we must find a balance as well. So I would understand the reason when they say, Van Lang has to wait. Remember, guys, this tournament will happen again next year. And I'm sure Van Lang will play next year. So Quinton Sampson, a fast bowling all-rounder, like Ronaldo Ali Mohammed, I think generally they are the first picks ahead of Van Lang because of repetition locally as well. So I tend to agree with what Anthony said. Timothy?
I agree with what Brandon said and what Anthony said. That's what I was going to say.
There's a lot of agreement going on here.
Look, when the squad came out, there was this big debate going on among me and my friends, and we were like, Van Lang is not there, Van Lang is not there, and I said, maybe it's not his season as yet. And one of the things we looked at is that when you move aside personal feelings, is the fact that you have him coming up against all these other guys, the Ali Muhammad, Luknat, and the Samsons, and so this next year is going to be back. These guys have their chance to prove themselves now, and if that doesn't happen, we know for sure that next year he should be in that squad once he puts his head up and continues with this.
I think
I understand the move.
at the basis of all these discussions we're having on whether or not Samson or Van Lang or whoever, I think the problem at the basis of this tournament, for me, that is that you call it a West Indies breakout league, but your ceiling is 30 years old.
Yes.
That doesn't make sense.
So-
To me, it
But you
doesn't
can
make
only
sense.
have 2 players between 27 and 29.
Yeah, but I think if you were going to say breakout, you can't cap it at 30.
Right.
Cap it at 25,
25.
26.
I agree with
And
that.
then you give more room
Look-
for the
look-
younger players
Yeah.
But, you
to actually break out.
And if a player like
these squads, right?
Sinclair, who's played Test cricket, doesn't play, would make room for another player like Van Lang.
That's one of the
So-
things that didn't sit well with me. You use the term breakout, and when you
But
say
you have
breakout,
the cap
you
at
have-
30.
Yeah, not only that, but I'm looking at the fact that nothing against Kevin Sinclair, but you're established, you're going to get picked for CPL, irrespective of what goes on. You're going to get picked. He could have made way for Van Lang.
So I'm looking at some of the ages here, right, across the 6 franchises or teams or territories. So we have Niall Smith is 29, Mark Anderson is 29, Leroy Long is 28, Ramal Lewis is 28. I haven't seen that name in a little while.
There's not even a little.
Those are the most
Senior guys.
guys that are going to be playing in this league. And I was wondering, it's a breakout league. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one, It's a tricky one because again, look at Ramal Lewis. When last he played for
Exactly.
Jamaica.
That's why I haven't
That's
seen
a
that.
great
So
question.
when we say breakout league, some of the guys looking for a break.
They're breaking back in.
Yes.
You need to call the cops because it's breaking and entering happening.
So let's also note again that Jediah Blades and Rivaldo Clark
Yeah.
Are the
Bajans
overseas
in the
I
guys.
love I love the Jediah Blades pick. And
Yeah.
here's why.
Yeah.
Jediah Blades give the Guyana RP Eagles a run
Oh,
for their
yes.
money.
Yeah, that
I
left
think
arm seam,
it was in the second round.
Yeah.
Gave them a run for the money. If not for Tevin Imlak, I believe.
Yes.
The Harpy Eagles, he looking bad at the stadium. real bad.
I am sure that Jemiah Blades is a very good pick. And you can have 2 outside of your region players.
Yeah.
And I'm also in agreement with Rivaldo Clark.
We can keep a batsman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good buy. It's a good buy. We must also mention another name that's not familiar to the Guyanese cricketing public of recent. It's Adrian Sukwa.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
about to
Right?
get to that.
So he's a wicketkeeper batsman who hails from Albion. He played all the junior cricket for Guyana. He actually went to Canada, Trinidad, and applied his trade. So it's good to see him
See,
back
so
in the mix.
that's somebody that's
That's
getting
a
a break.
break.
Not
That's a
Ramal
break, yeah.
Lewis.
Yes.
That's
Exactly.
And then we have young Zainul Ramsamy, another Barbadian, I believe.
Yeah.
For me, I've been covering a lot of cricket over the last year and a half or 2 years, so forth. Zainul has been putting in some good performances with both bat and ball.
I love his
Brandon,
inclusion because
what do you think of Rampasad?
Jonathan Rambasad or
Yeah.
Zainul Ramsamy you're asking me about?
Jonathan Rampasad.
So he missed selection.
Yes.
So he was not selected. He's an off spinner, Sean.
Yeah.
Like Richie Lopnot, like Kevin Sinclair. So it's like
There's
the
another
same thing with
situation
Jonathan
with
Van
Van
Lang.
Yeah.
Right? So he could not have earned selection ahead of those fellow off spinners.
Okay,
So-
that's your point.
But he's good. He's good enough to make this team.
I
Right?
just wanted your opinion.
Yeah, he's good enough to make this team.
no, we're coming
And I
back.
agree with most of what the cricket board said today.
Yeah. Strange, right?
For once. It rained tonight.
Strange. Jemima, you were saying.
No, I want to make a point about Zainul Ramsamy because when they played the warm-up game for the Harpy Eagles, I personally believe that he was slighted. I'm not gonna say for who, but I believe that he was slighted because Ramsamy was one of the best performing athletes in those 2 across both games. So I thought that, they would have given him a little break to get into the Harpy Eagles squad. So I'm glad. Something. I mean, he was around, he was running water when they were playing at home. But still, he deserved to be in that squad because he worked for it. So to see him on this squad, I'm very, very happy.
I am pleased with that selection as well because, like I said, he's been putting in the work with the bat, with the ball. And
I have no problem with the three newcomers, Latif, Ramsamy, and Sukwa.
All right, guys, let's make a toast with our Pulse Energy drink. We must thank Edward B. Bihari for once again sponsoring us. And we're live at Kezo Restaurant and Bar. Thank you, Ramari Sarwan. Let's go to a quick commercial break.
Guyana TV Network. Welcome to Hibiscus Restaurant, Sports Bar, and Nightclub. We offer fine dining, a sports bar, dancing, and special events. Come and enjoy a great Caribbean meal or sit and enjoy the games. Watch for our upcoming special events and live shows. Hibiscus, where you can have a wonderful time with family and friends. We are located at 8344 West Oakland Park Boulevard, Sunrise, Florida. Come out today and enjoy our wonderful atmosphere. Hibiscus Restaurant, Sports Bar, and Nightclub. We are your entertainment center in Sunrise, Florida.
Power through anything with Pulse Energy Drink. Choose from mango, sugar-free, and original. Get charged with Pulse.
Welcome back, guys. You're tuned into Howzat Guyana's weekly TV cricket talk show. We just had a regional discussion and it's time to move on to the world stage. We're looking at the IPL this week. Of course, the IPL is in full swing. And it is important for me to mention at this juncture that my team, won the first game of the season. I just thought y'all should know that comfortably. 20-something balls to spare.
I just want you to put this in your mind, right? Remember, fancy gallop, don't win.
This is a statement being made. It's an early statement. The first half century of the season is going to the GOAT.
You're good.
The GOAT. I'm not, we're not having a discussion. The discussion is going to start after I make these statements. Anyways, guys, the IPL, once again, listen, the IPL is introducing too many things. Every year is something new. You had impact player, you had this, you had that. One of the new introductions for this year's IPL is that there will be a ball change in the second innings of the game at the request of the bowling team. Of course, previously, and well, we should say across the world in cricket, a ball can only be changed on the umpire's decision. You can't go to the umpire and say, hey, please change this ball for me, because, the June thing and the ball soft or whatever. The umpire say, yeah, man, let me change the ball. It doesn't work like that. The umpire has to be convinced himself to say, hey, we could change the ball. And, that happens. Now we have a situation where the team between the 11th and 20th overs can approach the umpire and say, we need this ball to be changed, and the ball has to be changed at the behest of the team. So, there are different opinions, and I think, I cannot remember exactly when it happened, but there was an incident last IPL where a team was literally begging for the ball to be changed. They were being trashed, begging for the ball to be changed. Yeah, but I said, no, the ball, all right, we can't change it.
But you've got to look at the bowlers. That's a disadvantage to the bowlers, especially in a night match. In one-day cricket, there are 2 balls used in one innings in day matches and night matches. So I agree with that, because if you've got a spinner bowling and the ball is soaked in dew, it's going to be like soap. You can't grip it.
But cricket right now, look at it. It's a batsman's game. Like the bats alone Oh my
Yeah,
God.
so you've got to counter that.
So it's good to
Yeah.
have that balance.
Yes.
So it's good to see that the bowlers can actually do something.
Right.
So, but I still think 300 runs will be scored in this IPL.
Not by
Just
much,
put it
by-
Just put
We are-
Sunrisers.
We almost saw it on
Sunrisers,
Sunday morning
oh, yeah.
because the Sunrisers went absolutely berserk. 286, I believe.
Yeah.
Listen, in the last over, when they had 279 with one more over to go, I said, yeah, man, 201 runs is easy pickings in over. We can see the
Will
300.
happen.
They did
But,
well to
you know,
Will happen.
I agree with you, Brandon. The grounds are better, they're smaller,
Yeah.
and the pitches are better for batting.
True.
Nobody wants to see a team bowled out for 10 and the next team make 11 for 9. They want to see shots. That's excitement.
Runs.
That's the purpose of franchise cricket,
It
to
adds
provide
It
entertainment.
adds some variety to
Yeah.
the game as well because, I mean, just now we're going to see 300 being a T20 score. And if that's happening, look, for example, the women IPL that concluded the other day. When you look at the scores that these ladies were making, 240 something, 230 something, and then other teams chasing it back down and all these things. With this new ball change now that you can, it add variety because sometimes you could have 140 something in 11 overs and then the ball change and you get like police the other day
Yeah.
and bowl out for 150 or something like that. So it adds a special kind of flair to the game, making it exciting.
No, man, they sound like match fixing with the ball change.
I know why.
I do agree with the rule because at certain venues the dew tends to be
Yeah.
much heavier than other places, and
Yeah.
well, you get this one chance to change the ball, and you have to be strategic about it.
Yeah.
Especially. So it's going to be interesting to me. We just have to wait and see how well teams utilize this new niche.
So one thing I want to ask you guys, because I'm sure you're aware that there's a belief that spinners usually ply their trade up front in a T20 game. You hardly see a spinner bowling, let's say, between the 15th to the 20th over. The one time that we saw a spinner bowl the 20th over, well, that was in the CPL,
Yes.
where we saw Moti bowl that 20th
Yes.
over. And everybody completely lost their minds, like, how they can put him for ball the last over? How he can defend these runs? And do you think now, with this ball change rule, with a fresh ball, you have more grip? Do you think that we'll probably see more spinners bowling death overs?
I think so.
Yes, I believe
And
so.
not only spinners, the wrist spinners.
Yeah.
You know, they take, it's not easy to grip the ball, wrist spinners. So people like Varun Chakravarti, Adam Zampa, and so on could probably be death bowlers. Yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will be able to grip the ball. So it's good to see. I'm actually excited about the rule.
Because if you look back at most of these games where, let's say, they bring on a spin in the 14th or 15th over and then they're getting sent for runs, you always hear the commentators say, oh my, the Jew is too much, he's
Yeah,
not gripping
yeah.
the ball, he's with a rag trying
Yeah,
to
yeah,
drive the
it's
ball.
always the wrong comment.
So with the
Yeah.
new change now in effect,
Yeah, even if you don't bowl at the death in the middle,
yeah,
that
In the middle,
you
is where you
can
have to
cause
contain-
the ball
contain
to
the
be
rotation.
slippery.
But Sean, in your days, what would you prefer? Bowling the new ball, bowling in the middle?
I
What was
prefer bowling in the middle.
it? In the middle.
Yeah.
So
because
tell-
I was a big spinner of the ball.
Oh, you were a big
Slide the ball.
Oh my goodness. So you had the arm ball.
Timers.
You had the arm ball as well.
Yes, I had it. All the balls I
He
had.
had variety,
I had
Brandon. What kind
variety.
of questions
You should ask people like Stephen Jacobs and Leonard Scotch.
Yeah.
All right, so as we're on the topic of the ball, so they had this other rule that they introduced, reintroduced. They are now permitting the use of saliva to shine the ball.
That's nasty.
That's nasty. That's your thing. But it helps. And-
Yes,
and
it helps
spoken to some
to get the
players,
ball to swing.
Swing.
Because one
Good
side
swing.
is going to be
swing
heavier.
as well.
Yeah.
It's nice, you know, when people getting catching the slips. You know?
I
Yeah.
love watching guys like James Anderson,
Ah.
Glenn McGrath, the saliva on the ball and you're rubbing your life away and then you drop that ball, wicket.
Yeah. I like to see
it, I
that.
like
And
it.
in cold places, you won't have enough sweat.
Mm.
So you have to use the saliva if you want the
I
ball
think
to
the
be
saliva
heavier.
rule only came out because of COVID.
Yeah,
During that
yeah.
They
time.
dropped it for COVID.
Yeah.
And
Now
No,
that-
because of course saliva was dangerous then, you know.
Now that
That
COVID is
was a
gone,
weapon.
hopefully COVID is gone.
so
we can
life is
go
still
back.
dangerous.
So,
Yeah.
No, man, it's like every time I think of the saliva thing, I always think like, you know when somebody hawking up a big coal, like,
Oh my goodness.
No.
Wild imagination.
Perspective. That's why I think it's nasty. But back to the ball change rule, guys. So the IPL, when the IPL introduced their impact player rule, there was this big discussion, if we'll see it in other T20 leagues, if we'll see it in international cricket. So I have to ask you guys, do you think that sometime down the line, ICC will be convinced to adopt this rule for international cricket? Of course.
Well,
Given the Michelangelo. Go ahead.
The ICC will do that because the BCCI, that entity is one and the same. So that will be introduced.
I want the ICC to do it. If there's one thing I want to agree on, is I want the ICC to do it. I want it to start being developed in other T20 leagues, because it's like sometimes you're watching CPL, you have your favorite team, and you'll be like, they have this guy on the bench, he could play, but now he has a chance because you can put him as an impact player and bring, so he has a chance rather than running water.
You know what?
When your team losing terribly and you want to
come back this year.
You know what I remember there? Let me refresh everyone's memory. In the T20 World Cup, a guy named Shimron Hetmeyer and a guy named Shamar Joseph. They didn't play any game in the T20 World Cup. So if that impact rule was out, I'm sure Hetmeyer was coming in to finish.
And with that finishing ability.
But let's be realistic. Shimron Hetmeyer didn't even need to be an impact player in the World Cup.
No.
Shimron Hetmeyer was supposed to be in the 11 from the start.
Before Johnson Charles.
Oh my.
Any day.
That's the name. That's the name.
So
please don't make me
perhaps ICC will follow the trend set by BCCI and IPL.
But remember, those tournaments that you called previously are private tournaments, and their regulations can say you bowl over 10 balls. And the laws are overshadowed by the regulations. So I don't think ICC would go so strict on these rules.
Sean, my friend, ICC and BCCI are one and the same.
But IPL is a different of international cricket. And other teams don't need to play international cricket also. They won't agree.
Well, that's the hope. But, a team played a tournament in one venue and won the tournament. So, these things happen. Guys, please stay tuned with us. Of course, this is Howzat Guyana's weekly cricket TV talk show. We want to take some time to say thanks to our advertisers and, of course, all of our sponsors for making these very vibrant discussions happen. Stay with us. We're going to take another break, and then we have something very fun on the other side of the break. We're filming live from Guyana. This is Howzat.
The future of Guyana cricket is here. Are you ready to catch every thrilling moment? Never miss a game, news, information, interviews, and more. Guyana cricket will now be live and exclusive on the Guyana TV network. Experience the heart-pounding excitement from anywhere in the world. Catch every second, every ball, every wicket that drops on GCB TV, the channel on the Guyana TV network app. Watching Guyana cricket has never been this exciting. The Guyana Cricket Board has its own Cricket TV channel where you can watch all games live, get all your Guyana cricket news and updates, watch replays of games, access exclusive interviews and in-depth information, stay connected, stay informed, never miss a game. Watch it all free on the Guyana TV network app. The future of Guyana cricket is here. Live and exclusive on the Guyana Cricket Board's own TV channel, GCB TV. Catch all the games worldwide on GCB TV on the Guyana TV network app. Don't miss out. Download the app now and be part of the action.
Welcome back, guys. This is Howzat, probably one of our most enjoyed segments. We're about to pick a player of the week. We'll go around the table. Everybody has a chance to give 3 submissions, and then whoever has the most votes will, of course, win. I'd like to start the discussion on the player of the week. And of course, my player of the week is Virat Kohli. I just thought y'all should know. If that wasn't obvious before, Virat Kohli is my player of the week. First half century in the IPL. You know, of course, a lot of people doubted him. He was on the ropes. Because everybody, of course you were. Everybody said, oh, Kohli retired from T20. What is he going to be doing in the IPL? He's been there too long, been in this team too long. Hey. So that's my first submission.
Yeah, they always say form is temporary, but class is permanent.
Thank you,
and
Sean.
I agree with you.
Thank you, Sean.
He made a brilliant half century in the first match, and he's my player of the week.
Okay. Well, you see, I have somebody to agree with me. I have another submission, guys. Another international submission. This one, I believe it was a swan song story. And I'll say this because this player he's been destructive. He's been very good on the international stage, but he has never scored a century until last Sunday morning. And that player is Ishan Kishan. You know what it feels like to be in a team for years and you can't score a century? And then the first game you play for another team, you reach it unbeaten? Yeah, but this weight. A bad look on his team. Yeah, so that's my second submission for player of the week. Of course, my third submission is a local pick, Ronaldo Jeffrey, playing in the Bartica League, who makes 400s and a half century. I really believe that he needs to come to town and test his talents against some of the more active cricketers, not just to see where he is, but to, improve. You can always get better in this game. And I feel like him playing against better competition in town will give him that opportunity. So those are my 3 submissions.
Well, I agree with you because I've seen him bat, and he's very good. Yeah. He could play for Essequibo. I hope he plays for Essequibo in the senior intercounty, the next tournament, because he's a very good batter. And I want to also say to young Jacobs, that's Stephen Jacobs' cousin, Delroy Jacobs, he is doing a tremendous job in Bartica with these guys, and they play on a concrete strip.
No, man.
There's no turf pitches in Bartica at present. There were plenty, but now there are none. So that guy is my local player of the week also. Oh. And I have a picture with him. Don't worry.
Our producer.
Pull it up on the screen.
So who's the third player, Sean? Who's the third player? So you had Virat Kohli, Ronaldo Jeffrey, and who else you have?
Regional? Well, the regional tournament is taking a break, as you know.
So Sean will be taking a break from this player.
It's 2 weeks. Yeah. So I'm taking a break.
That's valid, Sean.
Let me go. My local player of the week, it has to be Suresh Danai, right? He was playing for the American Cricket Society, and he actually took a 5-wicket haul, and his consistency has been tremendous, not only this year. Every year he plays for the American Cricket Society, he's always in the wickets. He bowled crucial overs. And my other players of the week, they're a bit on the regional side.
I think I know one. I could call it for you. Sorry, I apologize.
So it's Joshua Da Silva.
We do, man.
What Jeffrey De Silva did in the last 2 weeks?
He did something. Hold on.
You see what y'all doing to me?
We need to be patient,
Everybody
guys. It's
on
coming.
me. Why? So there's this Trinidad T20 festival. It's happening.
I have been following that.
Right?
Yeah.
The guy scored a century, man. As soon as he returned from Barbados after beating up Barbados, the man went score 100 for Queen's Park. So it has to be, a player of the week. He's in red hot form. You have to give Jack his jacket.
So that he comes
Josh
under
is jacket.
local player of the week.
This is regional pick. This is
Regional, it's my regional pick because not much has been happening locally. Right?
But you got a local player.
Yeah, so
Feel
I
it
was
in
my
my
local player. And the final player, I'm a bit on the regional side because I like the 7 Corey and doubles in Trinidad. So Amir Django scored a half century in the final of the Trinidad T20.
But that's local cricket.
Right?
Yeah.
He played locally and he scored 81, I think it was. So he was the man of the match and he led his team to victory. So another point of interest would be whether or not Amir Django, Joshua De Silva, and Tevin Imlach will be in the West Indies test squad.
Right.
Everybody's scoring runs, yeah.
Everybody fighting.
Everybody's scoring runs. Somebody gotta get dropped.
Seniority moves, I guess.
Yeah, somebody could just play as a batsman because
De Silva could play as a batter. And Imlach as a wicketkeeper.
And Django batted a 3 in the last test series in Pakistan.
Yes, well, when the tournament starts, we have 2 more rounds, and we'll see who will fit in as another batter.
yeah, man.
But I'm sure that Imlach has done enough
To retain his
behind the stumps and in front of the stumps.
So right now he's the number 1 wicket keeper.
Yeah.
Test keeper.
Yeah.
Boy.
All right. That's a positive.
Not a selector.
That's a positive. But let me move on to my picks, right?
Yeah.
I prefer to elevate the youth. And I'm going to the under 17 competition, Sean. And we saw GCC absolutely destroy Belly Rubis. And I'm going to go with young Rivaldo Pereira, right? He took 4 wickets in their match.
Yeah, Danish Prasad took
Prasad
4
also
too.
took 4. But I'm going to go with Rivaldo because for the longest while he has also been consistent. And he's an all-rounder, by the way. So he's been good with both bat and ball. And based on that 4 wicket haul, I'm going to give him my local pick of the week. I don't have anybody at the regional level, but I'm going to look forward to field to the international scene.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm going to go with this Pakistani opener, Hassan Nawaz.
That's a good
My reason for picking him is I think that was his 3rd international 2020 game. And in the previous 2, he had failures. He didn't come with ducks, right? 2 straight ducks. To rebound from that and to score an unbeaten century, carrying Pakistan to, that 2-1 mark-up. So he gets a nod for me. That innings was excellent. I watched that game. I woke up somewhere around midnight to watch that game. But yes, the other pick for me has to be Ishan. Excellent innings. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and he is one that was earmarked for great things. He always had the potential. We knew he had the potential, but for some reason that blue just held him down. So kudos to Ishan. Timothy?
Quickly, I'll go through these 3 players quickly. For me, I'm going to start with the international side. I'm going to start with Tim Seifert. Form of his life right now. He's making runs. He's scoring them aggressively. Secondly, Ishan Kishan. Because in the practice match, I remember when he made 63 from 29 and he now converted it into that century. So that's good. And I'm going to go with Brandon and say for my local pick is Suresh Danai.
I thought you was about to say Joshua De Silva.
It was very impressive. I think he finished with a best of 5 for 31.
Yeah.
And from his 5 games, he got 10 wickets at an economy rate of 5 point something. So that's really good. And not only this tournament, but other tournaments, he has been consistently proving himself. So that's it for me.
Yeah.
And I still am confused that you pick a regional player from his performance in local cricket.
Yeah, please leave me alone.
That's not a local
All these players that I'm calling, they're scoring runs. They're doing things.
Yeah, but that local. Regional cricket. What have you done for the last 2 weeks at regional cricket?
Sean is flabbergasted by your picks, Brandon.
The
So
man has 370 runs in the pool between.
let's go.
Yeah, but he didn't play in the last 2 weeks. And this is recent periods. All right, let's go around. We can see
Sean, who are your picks? Who are your picks?
Ronaldo Jeffrey, local, Virat Kohli,
Yes.
Yeah.
international. And I don't have
Oh, yes,
any
you didn't have
regional
regional.
because regional cricket
Alright.
is on a break.
So I think we have like a three-way tie because good. So both Michelangelo and I mentioned Ishan Kishan. Both you and I mentioned Ishan Kishan. Oh, wait, no, Ishan Kishan win. Oh yeah.
3 in the
Yes. You see, this was happen when you leave Mumbai Indians alone. Only Jafra Archer could, take a page out of Ishan's book. Brandon, it's okay. It's okay. Season is not nothing. I went through it. I've been there.
I've been going through it for my entire life with West Indies cricket.
I never want to tell you which team I support. Y'all would understand.
And Joffre missed the century by 24 runs. Off his 4 overs.
And I'm so pleased that the cricket board guy, who doesn't really agree with me much, agreed with me that Rutherford would be the impact player.
Well, I've been singing Rutherford songs since the show began, right? So just remember.
Guys, that's it for Player of the Week. Of course, our selection this week is Ishan Kishan. I think this is our first international winner. This is our first international winner, Ishan Kishan, for the Sunrisers Hyderabad, the first century of the 2025 Indian Premier League. I think it was 106 not out. Amazing stuff. If you haven't seen it, you need to go watch those highlights. It was an innings and a half. We're going to take another break right now, and then when we get back, some more interesting things. Listen, we got interesting things happening this entire show. So we're going to have some fun questions when we return, and you're going to get a peek into, what we're thinking about probably some controversial things happening. Stay with us. This is Howzat.
Power through anything with Pulse Energy Drink. Choose from mango, sugar-free, and original. Get charged with Pulse.
Welcome to Hibiscus Restaurant, Sports Bar, and Nightclub. We offer fine dining, a sports bar, dancing, and special events. Come and enjoy a great Caribbean meal or sit and enjoy the games. Watch for our upcoming special events and live shows. Hibiscus, where you can have a wonderful time with family and friends. We are located at 8344 West Oakland Park Boulevard, Sunrise, Florida. Come out today and enjoy our wonderful atmosphere. Hibiscus Restaurant, Sports Bar, and Nightclub. We are your entertainment center in Sunrise, Florida. Guyana TV Network.
All right, welcome back, guys. This is Howzat, your weekly TV cricket talk show. And we're here with the fun segment, the money segment.
Yes.
So,
Cha-ching.
in this, cha-ching indeed. So, in this segment, we'll be fielding 3 questions from the fans that were sent over the last week. And then when we're done with those discussions, we'll be giving you 3 quiz questions. And once you answer all 3 of them correctly, you can be the winner of $100. So a nice fine change in your pocket for answering 3 simple questions. And remember, none of you can participate.
All right.
Right? All right. So the rules are you answer them correctly, all 3 of them correctly, and the fastest to do so, you win the $100. And you can text your answers to 646-1535. But before we get to that part, I have 3 questions here from, I have them from different persons, but we're going to start with the first one. And it's an IPL related question. And Gerald Forbes asks, what do you guys think about Harry Brooks' replacement for IPL 2025 and who you would have picked if not him?
Anybody but whoever it is.
So who did they pick?
That's the thing. When I saw the guy's name, who they picked, it was an irrelevant. Some guy from Sri Lanka. I don't even know where he came from. And I saw the name and I said, I'll forget this name by the end of the day because you could have brought a West Indian or somebody that can impact the game. You're going to bring a nobody and they're probably not even going to give him a game.
Yeah, I mean, they could have bring Shea Hope fresh from all those exploits in the ILT20.
Exactly.
You see a game, nobody.
Exactly. And I think he scored 100 there as well, too, right?
Of course.
Exactly.
Of course.
You brought him.
Man, Hope is a good concept.
Yes. Off the top of my head, I couldn't think of anybody, but now that you brought up Shea Hope.
Yes.
I agree, he's in excellent form. Why not, throw him in there? And the thing is, he bats a bit like Harry Brook. He can control his innings. He can explode when he wants to. So that would have been an excellent
And you
replacement.
didn't bring a batsman, you brought a bowler. Make it make sense.
All right, so we'll move on to the second question because I think everybody's in agreement. So
Yeah.
the second question, Davian Singh, my Lord. I don't know why Davian has this question.
No, I saw the
I
question.
don't want to read it. Yeah, I think this is RCB here.
No.
Oh, what? That's the question?
That's the question. So
No, wait, that's the question?
that's the question. That's why I said I Lord.
Oh, no.
They have a 10-page expose on why RCB will be winning the IPL this year. It just comes down to the numbers. This is the 18th year of the IPL, and Virat Kohli wears number 18. It's that simple, guys.
So in sports, there are superstitions, and then there are
Michelangelo,
nonsensical
let me have this.
I don't agree with it, Michelangelo. I told one of my friends, I said, listen, RCB will not win this year. She said, we are not friends for this IPL. And I said, listen, if RCB wins, I will publicly make an apology to the RCB fans for doubting. That's a confidence I am.
So when you make the apology, right, please tag me in it on Facebook.
No,
Make sure you tag
here's what. If RCB wins, Jemima is proposing this, that you get him to wear an RCB t-shirt and come on set.
Oh, yes.
So,
Oh, yeah.
you think that table?
I'm a betting man. Let's go.
All right, good. Well, for me, no comments.
Listen, if we look at the T20 teams the last few years, we had some trends where teams who haven't won trophies won. We had the Amazon Warriors in 2023. We had the St. Lucia Kings in 2024. And it's RCB here, So,
Fingers crossed, Jemima. So, moving on to the third question, and this one is actually, I think Sean would have a lot to say on this question here, and it's from Mikel Govaya. It's local, it's based on local cricket. So he says, I have noticed that the majority of youth level games are low scoring encounters. And he wants to know what we think are the reasons for that.
Well, first of all, the game at DCC, there was a patch just outside the left-handers off stump on the DCC pitch. And that's why maybe those scores were not big because of the left-hander. The best left-hander is Shamar Apple.
They had two
and they have another left-hander. And that is why those scores were small. But I think in general, the batters don't understand how to compile an innings, how to build it, shot selection. I'm not talking about only the young batsmen. I'm talking about the first division batsmen also.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a combination of everything, right? I was speaking to a coach just last night or the night before, and he was telling me, he was reluctant to speak on other teams, but he was speaking about his team, and he said, it could be that the bowling is good, the batting is poor, or the pitch is underprepared. And I think most times at youth level, the pitches are not up to scratch. And like Sean said, these batsmen these days, right, the youngsters especially, they go out and they go guns blazing.
Even a 20-20 match.
Yes, exactly.
You get 4 dot balls and you play really short.
Yes. So They go out guns blazing before you go out and try to craft your innings, bat your way in field. You go out guns blazing, you're out for duck, a little 5, a little 4, a little 10, right? So I honestly think that at the youth level, coaches need to speak to these batters, say, hey, you know, you have time. It's not about just going and blaze out the 3, 4, 5 overs. Go construct your innings.
Yeah.
You have the 100 overs.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any team aside from transport bat more than 50 overs.
Cricket, well, batsmanship again, I always say it's a mental game. Even though the pitch is bad, if you're a good enough batsman,
apply yourself.
right, and if you have application and mental strength, you can construct an innings, right? If you're really good and if you want to be the best, the pitch will not always be suitable for batsmen, and that's fine.
And even the test referees, Artanes did that in Pakistan on a region tournament.
So you have to apply yourself.
But you see, Brandon, with the culture that is being promoted today, it's
There we
everything is
go.
about T20
Yeah.
and it's about hitting big and who can hit the farthest. So these guys wouldn't know that, okay, if he bowls me a good ball, I defend it, and then the next one might come outside or off. So if I push it and I run a single, they would look to hit it and then they get nick off. You're back in the pavilion again. So, you know, the culture, I believe, that's being promoted, it needs to change.
Yeah.
Promote the culture when we're playing a limited overs match. But if you want to stay, you got to push that, listen, value your wicket.
And I agree with what Michael said, that the coach has got to play an important role in that. Because there are times when you need to score big, and there are times when you need to buckle down. And it goes the opposite ways many times, like Tej and Nandu and those guys bat too slow, and some bat too fast, and they're reckless and they're out.
You have to find a balance.
So you got to find a
Yeah,
balance.
it's a thin line.
And I think one of the most balanced batsmen that I've seen recently is Shai Hope, right? Granted that he has not played the longer format for a long time.
Should.
He should
But-
be playing it, right?
I thought you were going to say Virat
When
Kohli.
you look at
I was thinking Virat.
No, let's be in the West Indies.
let's not go there. I'm speaking our people.
Yeah.
So when you look at the way Shai Hope goes about his ODI innings, his T20 innings, right? He used to come in for a lot of criticism in the ODI format.
Yeah.
Because people used to say that, you know, he bats too slow sometimes and he would allow that love. But I think he has a perfect template for the way he goes about constructing his innings. So I would urge the younger batsman to take a leaf out of his book.
I'm so glad I didn't say it.
And a person for me who bats in situational conditions, meaning that they bat to the conditions, is Kevin Imlach.
Yeah.
Kevin Imlach bats slow,
Yeah.
bats quickly, he can change gears.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you must
And
always
he's got a
be
good
willing-
technique.
You must always be willing to adapt. You remember we used to complain, as Michael Andrews said, Pope is too slow, he's batting too slow. What he did, put in the work. Look at Hope now. Hope can take his time and bat,
don't
and
say
Hope
that.
can bat fast.
Don't-
Even
don't.
once.
The man batting average in ODI is 49.9.
Yeah.
You know, so I know these things because he's that good.
Timothy, I don't think that Shai Hope would appreciate you saying that he put in the work in order to be able to bat faster.
Because he did.
Because,
He said
because
exactly
there's
that
one
on-
time, there's one time that I asked him, I said, you know, you're
He took-
batting in the
took offense.
T20 leagues, and
Yeah.
he took a lot of offense to that. So I think you want to correct your statement and say he always had it in him.
Yes.
Yeah.
He just had to unlock
Yes, yes.
the
Unleash
pace.
that-
Yeah, that
He
is
has to
correct.
bring it from the slow
Don't,
batting.
And that's the same thing with Tej and Chandrapal. He can score quickly, but he prefers not to get out. He takes low risk.
And doesn't produce much.
Oh
The thing
my.
is, look, we saw this.
That's the fact, that's the fact.
I think
That's
it was 2 seasons or 3 seasons ago when we needed like 100 or something in the last session when he went on a rampage.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oval.
I remember that game.
Right. So he does have it in him. He
Yeah.
he beat the ball all over
Played
the
that
court.
drum shot.
And yes.
Yes, that was the last time I actually saw him bat aggressive. I think Leon Johnson was still captain then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
John was
But
still
the problem
captain.
with Tej is that he's afraid to out.
He's afraid. He's afraid of losing his wicket.
Yeah.
That was some excellent insights. I think the local batsmen, both youth and senior, need to do better. And now that we're done with those discussions, we head into the money segment, right? So we're going to start with three pretty simple questions. And the first question for you guys, remember you're texting the answer to, let me just see this now, I'm bad with numbers. 646-1535, you can text or WhatsApp your answers. Or you could even voice note it if you like. Yes,
Whatever is convenient.
whatever is convenient to you. So the first question for our quiz. On the day that A.B. de Villiers struck the fastest ODI 100 of all time off 31 balls in a total of 149 off 44 deliveries, which of his teammates was actually the top scorer? So, you know, the highlight of that match was, of course, the fastest ODI century, but another teammate scored more runs. So, if you know the answer, text it ASAP. The second question, which team has finished at the top of the points table after the league stage in the women's IPL's first two editions? Jemima, you know the answer, keep it to yourself. Right, and the third question is, who is the only Guyanese spinner to have to have passed 300 wickets in Test cricket? A legend, I'll just say that.
A lot of easy questions.
That's a good movie. So
Your family members are not allowed to answer these questions.
Why they have a different name?
No.
no TMT.
We don't like
I know two of the questions out of my head, the answers,
Yes.
but the female question, I gotta go and do some research.
I got the one for you.
So you'll tell me when.
Those are the three questions for the US $100, and let me go them over quickly. So, on the day that A.B. de Villiers struck the fastest ODI century, which one of his teammates was the top scorer in that match? The second one, which team finished top of the women's IPL's point standings after the league phase in the first two editions? And the third one, who is the only Guyanese spinner to have passed 300 Test wickets? Remember, text your answers to 646-1535. I got it right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, guys, there you have it, the three questions for this week. And remember, we'll announce the winner in the next episode, and you will have 7 days from them to come and claim your prize. So that's it for our fun segment. We'll take a commercial break, and we'll be right back. Remember, we're filming live from Etkezo, the wonderful Etkezo. Thank you, Ramir Sarwan, again. So we'll be right back.
Power through anything with Pulse Energy Drink. Choose from mango, sugar-free, and original. Get charged with Pulse.
The future of Guyana cricket is here. Are you ready to catch every thrilling moment? Never miss a game, news, information, interviews, and more. Guyana cricket will now be live and exclusive on the Guyana TV network. Experience the heart-pounding excitement from anywhere in the world. Catch every second, every ball, every wicket that drops on GCB TV, the channel on the Guyana TV network app. Watching Guyana cricket has never been this exciting. The Guyana Cricket Board has its own Cricket TV channel where you can watch all games live, get all your Guyana cricket news and updates, watch replays of games, access exclusive interviews and in-depth information, stay connected, stay informed, never miss a game. Watch it all free on the Guyana TV network app. The future of Guyana cricket is here, live and exclusive on the Guyana Cricket Board's own TV channel, GCB TV. Catch all the games worldwide on GCB TV on the Guyana TV network app. Don't miss out. Download the app now and be part of the action.
Power through anything with Pulse Energy Drink. Choose from mango, sugar-free, and original. Get charged with Pulse.
Welcome back, guys. This is Howzat. We're on the home run right now for another episode. A good session, guys, we had today, and I truly enjoyed having our co-host, Anthony Danrad from the Guyana Cricket Board. Not because, Anthony had a lot to tell us, but because of some of the insight we got from Anthony, especially on things that have been plaguing us this week, more so the Jonathan Van Lang issue and how the selection, and what their thought process was behind certain things like the Under-21 tournament. Of course, I know that tournament is supposed to be coming up, guys, this week.
In addition to that, right, there's the Under-17 Intercounty to look forward to. I know Sean, our guy Shamar Apple, will be featuring in that.
Yes, and Jonathan and Anthony said that as soon as the LBI facility has been completed, that should be Wednesday. It should start maybe Friday. So we look forward to that. That's the under 17 Intercounty. All the matches are going to be played at LBI.
I think we have also over the river, the first week of April, that is, we would be having the King 360 50 over finale and the GH T20 $1 million tournament that's coming up. So, it's a lot of cricket going on.
A lot to look forward to, like Hetmeyer scoring a 50 in the IPL,
So help it,
Rutherford
making a century.
He needs to make the team for us, guys. Let's not get carried away. He needs to make a play 11 for us.
To make the starting 11 as well.
Now we're talking about
That's the reality. Hetmeyer will walk into Royal Sunrise 11, close eyes.
Yeah.
He's that good. He's that
a lot of cricket happening, not just locally, but internationally as well. So, we got some stuff to look forward to.
And remember,
of course, the Guyana Harpy Eagles should be in preparation mode because the next round is going to come up on the 2nd of April.
yeah, the 2nd to the 5th.
They should be prepared.
And they're going to be playing Guyana, playing Leewards in St. Kitts. That's a big match. And
Sean, will you be making that voyage?
Of course he is.
yeah, I'm thinking of doing it.
Take a switch, please. Guys, not also forgetting the Global Super League in July as well. That's a chance for Guyana to actually win something before they see if they can win the CPL. If they don't win it at the Global Super League, I don't believe they
I think Timothy is just hurt that his franchise didn't.
Yeah. If we invite his people, though.
If you see me supporting
we
the Warriors this year, just know that they bought one of my favorite players, so I'm there.
So
And remember, West Indies women, they start their tour on April 9th. They play Ireland, and then they play Scotland, and then they play Ireland on the 11th.
all right, so we'll be keeping tabs on those
competitions.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to. Of course, the IPL is in full swing. I think we've already called our teams, right?
Yeah.
Sean, I can't remember which team.
Well, I don't really look at IPL. I look at the players in IPL. I don't really have a team.
But Sean, we were calling teams.
Some follow player and call a team. Favorite player and the team that they associate with.
Just a Mumbai.
Well, three West Indians are in LSG. Russell, Puran, and Shamar Joseph.
Yeah, so that was my pick.
No, Sean. You're thinking KKR for Russell. You're right.
KKR, Russell and Narayan. And LSG, Puran and Joseph.
Joseph.
Yeah.
You like Joseph and Puran?
Yeah,
LSG.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's my team for.
Yeah, Puran
Well,
and Joseph.
that has been my
LSG?
team recently. Yeah, LSG.
MSG's cousin.
Yes,
All
LSG.
right, good. So you got the teams locked and loaded. I'm sure that, later on when the tournament gets heated up and we're in stiff competition against one another, we'll put something on the line.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, probably some push-ups.
Already.
Some dry buns.
What about
Already.
A haircut.
I hear code?
Oh,
Yes.
no, I can't participate.
Sean, you
And it don't make sense if Sean participates, so we can't do a haircut.
Well, the barber charged me more. He had to find the hair and then cut it.
Oh my goodness.
Of course, that's another session of Howzat, guys, your weekly cricket TV talk show. Of course, you can join us again next Wednesday at 8 p.m. for another session of Howzat, where we're discussing everything in the world of cricket, regional, international, and local. This has been a good session, guys, and of course, we want to remind our viewers to answer those questions. The number is 646-1535. Did I get it right?
Got it.
Yeah, there we go. 646-1535. Send your answers there, and you can win 100 US. Of course, you'd have the chance to claim it within 7 days, and then we'll have some fresh questions next week for you guys to answer. So don't forget that. Make sure you get in on a chance to win some money. This has been another session of Howzat. Thank you for joining us. We're filming live from Guyana at the beautiful Keso restaurant. Join us again next week.